The sky outside Poenari Castle was as red as blood. The first rays of dawn had begun to creep over the jagged peaks of the Carpathian Mountains, painting the heavens in a sinister glow. It was as though the world itself could sense what had transpired within the castle's crumbling walls. The ritual was complete, the sacrifice made, and Vlad was returning. But the world wasn't prepared for what came next. Elena stood in the heart of the ancient castle, the air thick with the scent of death. Her hands, still trembling from the blood she had spilled, Sebastian's blood, were stained with the dark crimson that now pulsed in her veins. She felt the heat of it, the power of the ritual, coursing through her like a living thing. It wasn't just the blood of her lover that she had taken, it was the bloodline of the very man she had feared her entire life. And now, she could feel him, Vlad. His presence was growing, suffocating the air, until she could almost hear his whispers in the depths of her mind. "The blood is mine. You are mine." Elena gasped, clutching her head, but it wasn't the pain that made her recoil. It was the knowledge that the darkness was settling into her soul, that she was now bound to it in a way that could never be undone. "You should have known, Elena," Radu's voice came from behind her, his words like a cold caress. "You were always meant to be his heir. All this time, you were running from your legacy, and now it has caught up to you." She spun around to face him, her eyes burning with rage and grief. Her hands were still slick with Sebastian's blood, and yet, somehow, they were trembling less now. The transformation was taking root. His words, her legacy, were like a curse that she could not escape. You? Elena's voice cracked, torn between fury and despair. "You made me do this. You manipulated me into thinking I had no choice. All this time, you were just using me. I used you." Radu raised an eyebrow, his voice smooth, almost mocking. "No, Elena, I freed you. I freed you from the chains of your denial. From the foolish belief that you could escape what you are. You are Dracula. You are his heir, his daughter in blood." Her stomach turned. It was the truth, wasn't it? Even though she had never wanted it, never asked for it, Elena was bound to the Dracula line, to Vlad, to the curse that followed it. She could feel the darkness of it swirling in her chest like a storm that would soon consume her entirely. But it was too late for regrets now. As the last of the red dawn seeped into the castle's ruins, the ground beneath Elena's feet trembled once more. The air grew thick with an otherworldly energy, a power so ancient that it seemed to ripple through the very fabric of time itself. Then, like a dark force breaking free from its prison, a shadow moved across the floor, a figure stepping from the veil between worlds. Vlad. He was not the man of legend, tall and fearsome, draped in armor, with eyes that gleamed with the promise of torment. No, this was something far worse. This was something more. His form flickered, shifting between life and death, as though the world itself could not decide whether he belonged to the land of the living or the dead. But Elena knew who he was. The chill that settled in her bones was unmistakable. Vlad the Impaler. His eyes met hers, glowing with a predatory hunger that seemed to pierce her very soul. For a moment, she felt herself falter, as if she were drowning in those eyes, as though they were pulling her under into an abyss of darkness and violence. And then, he spoke. "You've come, my daughter." His voice was a low, guttural growl. It was not a greeting, but a command. "You've done what needed to be done. Now, you are mine." Elena's heart hammered in her chest as she took a step back, but her feet wouldn't move. The blood was flowing faster now, hotter in her veins, and she could feel it, the power. The ancient, dark power that coursed through her, binding her to Vlad in ways she never thought possible. "No." She shook her head, her voice a ragged whisper. I didn't want this. I didn't want to be your heir. I wanted to stop you." Vlad's lips curled into a smile, a cruel and twisted thing. "You are my heir, Elena. The manuscript was never just a story. It was a summons. And you have answered it. He reached out a hand, his fingers long and pale as they brushed against her cheek. She shivered at his touch, her mind reeling with the truth she could no longer deny. This world will bleed for what it has done to our bloodline. And you will be the one to lead them all. Lead them. Elena could barely speak, the weight of his words pressing down on her like a boulder. Her transformation was nearly complete now, and she could feel the darkness wrapping itself around her heart like chains. She was becoming something else, a queen, yes, but a queen of shadows, of death. She could feel it in her very core. Yes. Vlad's voice deepened, rich with power. You will reign beside me, Elena. The world thought Dracula was a myth. They were wrong. We are legends, and you are my blood, my heir. Together, we will bring this world to its knees. Elena looked down at the bloody dagger in her hand, the last remnants of Sebastian still staining the blade. A wave of grief washed over her, but it was quickly replaced by an unsettling sense of power. She had chosen this path. Or perhaps, the path had chosen her. It didn't matter anymore. She was Dracula. She was his. And there was no turning back. The castle shook violently as the earth beneath it groaned, as though the very land itself was awakening from a centuries-long slumber. The crimson dawn above them deepened into a blood-red night, a prelude to the chaos and carnage that was about to unfold. As Elena turned to face Vlad, standing at his side as his daughter and heir, the world seemed to hold its breath. This was no longer a tale of the past. This was the beginning of something darker.